Let me get comfortable here. So, my final thoughts on this game. For a 2020 game, it's pretty damn good. There are some parts that are annoying. For example, like some of the drawers and such are hard to open and grab onto. So you can pull them out and see if there are any content inside, loot, something to scavenge. Sometimes there are some problems with the texture in the world, so sometimes I don't know what you would call this, the props or something, just disappears. So I've tried to walk up here on nothing, ending up here on nothing. Open the door, and then just stand inside of this, completely fine. And sometimes there have also been a little bit of issue with the... I've been stuck in some places, but I wouldn't say it's much of a problem because there is an unstuck button. So if you're, as said, stuck, and you press the button, it will teleport you to a location close to there where you are stuck. Voxel tried at one point. I was stuck between a little hill or a pile of dirt, and then a fence. And then when I went down in between those two, I couldn't move. Even if I tried to duck, which sometimes helped, nothing happened. So used unstuck, and I got out. There has been an instance where I had to do it like 2 or 3 times to get out properly, and ending not back on the map, but a place where I could move. But I really like this game. 100% I love this game. It definitely has made me curious to play the second one, and I found out recently that this game is most likely based off of the old school game, which the sequel has come out recently, the Stalker series. I have tried the first one, but it kind of annoyed me as there wasn't really much explanation. I could never figure out if there was a journal or something for the different anomalies and such. It felt like you were walking in blindly, even though the characters seemed like they have been there for quite a while and such. But in Stalker 2, it seems more like they don't hold your hand, but they at least guide you a little bit on what to do and what not to do. And in this one, they also help you with information, like, for example, how to do maintenance on your weapons, like what to bring along with you, for example. Explaining to you, for example, here, see the yellow alert, brush and oil your gun, and then once it's blue, take care of the barrel, use paper and a ramrod to clean it. So it's a little bit in the background, but they do tell you pretty much everything here in the hideout. For example, also where you can carry stuff. For example, it tells me I should have put the probes here, but I preferred much more the probes up here and the detector down here, because then I could see whenever there's something nearby, because it's not always I notice sound, because I'm so focused looking. I would have wished there had been some better areas to place stuff as well, or at least more of them. For example, there could have been like not two main weapons or something like that. But instead of like having a main weapon on the back and then another one here on the side of the backpack, you could have had one for the collection. Excuse me, getting distracted. Like having one weapon on one side and another weapon on the other side. So, for example, you could have like a who knows, a sniper and assault rifle, or a shotgun and a sniper. So you have good on both short distance and very long distance, and then you have the pistol for kind of a in between. But I would also have liked that. Tissue just lying around in here. I would have very much also liked that they would have given specifications on some things with weapons and such. For example, we have these 9mm or 919mm that are of course pistols. And then we have the other series here, which is the Heckler and Koch. Oh gosh, I don't know. This is a shortened version of the telescopic stock chambered in 919, where it says shortened version, and this one says, let's see where it is, version 3 was operations and close quarter combat. Okay, it does not say it here, but I wish there would have been a way like to put the stock in and stuff like that, so maybe you could have placed it in here, so you don't necessarily need to use a handgun as a sidearm. Because there are also some weapons, for example this one. Short version of PPSH is a Soviet open-bolt submachine gun that has been modified to be more compact. I mean, this looks like it would fit fine in a sidearm holster. And that would have been a nice weapon to have in combat. Both with the fact that it has a lot of shots in it, and then also it has like a little bit of spread, so it's good, and it shoots really fast. Of course, the damage is probably not that high on it, but would have been nice. But I mean, selection-wise, I love the fact that they scatter them up based on ammunition and stuff like that. And they show like what is it? The amount of weight it has. But I would have very much liked when the gun's up there that you could see the stats, so you don't have to like what you say? Yeah, buy the weapons to figure it out, so you can kind of like make an estimation of, alright, this one has this stats, this stats, this stats, and how's it compared to this one? Oh, I actually like that one more in stats wise, but it's a little bit heavy. You go to another one and you're like, oh, that's a little bit in between, and it has alright amount of damage and penetration and stuff like that. So that is one of the aspects I'm a little bit wasn't very pleased about that. But there is also a lot of stuff you can learn along the way. For example, which I learned a little bit late, is the fact that you can bring tissues with you instead of the whole bundle. And they weigh, I mean, next to nothing. It's 10 grams. It's almost nothing. And you can have a huge amount of them with you, and the rod, it doesn't weigh anything, pretty much. Let me check real quick. I can find the lucky. There we go. Yeah, 50 grams. And the grease, it's 250. It's almost nothing. So I wish I had noticed that sooner, or thought about that sooner. So it would have been much more easy to do maintenance and stuff like that. So I could actually do it out in the field, so I don't have to come back constantly once in a while to do it. Though, of course, I am a little bit of a loot goblin or a scavenger, so I pick up a lot of stuff, so I frequently had to go back and forth. And I'm also happy about the fact that they added like shortcuts a couple of places here. So we have the entrance itself, we have a side path here in the second area and the fourth area. And so there is a little bit of options to return, so you don't have to go all the way one way and then go all the way back again. And also there's different ways to go to the different areas. For example, you can skip this area and go directly here from up to here, and there are 2 different ways to get into the Beta factory. Like you go left, you go to the left, right, you go to the right, and so forth and so on. And for example, you can already go up to the Kolkost Sergia up here through the second area, up to the fourth area. So you can skip the third area. So it helps a lot, but of course, if you want to get up here, you don't need to go down here to get up there, because you have another shortcut. But it helps you with getting up there, so you can get to the shortcut really quickly. And the selection of enemies are very nice. I would have wished the mimics had a bit more of a easier way to distinguish which kind of mimic it is. I mean, of course, I can always recognize the cop because it has that cop hat that is a little bit wide and then goes inwards. Sometimes I can recognize the gunner because it has weird hats that's pointy on top. Sniper that has the camouflage stuff on it. Actually, that would have been a very nice thing to have some camouflage gear on me, so that it would be harder for the enemies to spot me. So, for example, it's easier to do like stealth and such with a silencer on your weapons and such. But I mean, overall, I mean, I enjoy this game. I love the concept of it, like this, where you have to go out and in the different areas you have to do quests so you can progress in the things you can unlock story-wise also. You can grind a lot, like you are pretty much open to do whatever you want, and I love that aspect. But there is also restrictions by the fact that there are many areas and they are pretty damn open. So it's not overwhelming, so you don't like for example, a whole Skyrim map. So you're like, I can't really figure out where to go now. But of course, it's a little bit easier in this one because I am guilty of the fact that when I play games that has side quests and such, I tend to focus on the side quests first so I can get some good gear, so I have an easier time when I get to the main mission. Where a lot of games want you to do the main missions first, and then afterwards go and explore and do the side quests and such. Which I'm very bad at with, for example, Skyrim, as I said. Big RPGs, open world games. I kind of need, you would say, red thread to follow, like a proper one, and it should not be too long to get to the different locations. And yeah, so this feels manageable because you start in one area, so it's not everything you can see immediately. Then you go to the second area, then the third area, and then the fourth area, which also you kind of get guided by the main missions to go to these different areas, and then finishing here, of course. And there's also a nice variety of quests. I mean, most of them are just fetch quests, but there are interesting with the fact that you have to go around with a detector and use the probes so you don't get into the traps and anomalies and such like that. Which there are also an alright amount of different ones. If I can figure them out, remember them all, there is the squares, kind of disco-like neon something. We have the bubbles that go out in, that reflect lights when you touch them and push you if you go into them. Where the squares are much more milder in it. You just take a little bit of damage when you touch them. And then we have the smoke waves through the air that kind of works like a poison. It says in one of the tapes I played at one point, don't remember if I did on stream, where it says that they are basically waves that goes in and destroys your molecule and stuff like that. So if you stay in them for too long, you can absolutely split it apart. Where it mentions, for example, some of the first ones that had gone through them, they had no idea what's happening and were in pain and panicked and suffered some horrible deaths, but after they figured out what it was, they had precautions and such. I think that would probably also have been nice to have is some sort of like biohazard suit, I guess, where, for example, the black smoke can't hurt you and stuff like that. So you also don't have to take your gas mask on and off constantly. So you can have the gas mask on, and then you can have a helmet on top of it. Or you could just have the gas mask on and then put the helmet on top of it. But first, it would be a little bit of a problem. I do wish, though, also with the gas mask, that the lenses had been a little bit bigger. The eye holes had been a little bit bigger, because it feels so. I don't get nauseous and stuff like that, but it feels very uncomfortable when you walk like it. Look through them. In the way they are set up. And I also love the fact that there are the rewards. So, for example, if you find the pages with a stash, or you're just lucky enough to look around and you're lucky enough to find something, then you have a little reward. And the fact that you either get some good gear early on, or you get some good ammunitions or something you can sell. So you can get the thing you actually want. And also nice with the fact that there's constantly new side quests once in a while. So there's no shortage on earning money and stuff like that. I do have to remember also, if it's possible, I do not remember. I remember that I had lowered the amount of money I earned. That's also a thing. Very nice on the difficulty settings, that you can put the different things as you wish. For example, as I said, I had lowered the enemy's health, but I had increased the amount that spawn and wandering around, roaming free, and also I had increased their damage. So they're easy to kill, but they also have an easier time to kill me. So it's a little bit more of a vulnerability on both sides, but high damage and such. And that would easily be surrounded, which also was I like the fact that they started out kind of mild. Of course, there are some locations that are heavy spawned with, for example, cops and stuff like that, and soldiers. But the fact that enemies wandering around, it feels like they increase in the amount by how far in the security or the priority missions you've gone through, which was a very nice detail. But whole difficulties, settings and such, it also can add a little bit of, freshness, replayability to the game, because you have different settings, so you can kind of mix and match. You can go all out hard, or you can go a little bit of middle ground in different areas. So in some they are normal, and some they are really hard. Because, for example, I really want to try out where, if I remember correctly, you can increase the rewards when you deliver the stuff from the missions and deliver stuff to the shop. But I think there's also a setting where you can lower the amount. At this time I had a normal amount, but I think it would be interesting if I lowered the amount I can find out there, so that I am forced to take the money I get from rewards and, for example, buy food, buy stim packs, buy more focus on buying ammunition, because it's hard to find out there. So I'm more reliant on acquiring the artifacts and doing the quests over and over. Kind of mild grinding, because they will be giving me a lot of money, since the fact that I increased the reward system there, or reward amount. So it really adds a little bit extra. And also interesting with the fact that you progressively go through the system of the enemy, so it feels a little bit different every time. So it's not the same three things all over. For example, the spawns, the fragments, both the one that's what would we call it? The one that's not see-through, like fragile, and the one that's more compact, solid. That's more solid. And then the cops, and then if that was it, that would have been boring as heck. So it's nice the fact that eventually there comes the soldier units. You have the shotgunner, one of the earlier ones as well, in the swamp area. Then you have a real military that comes out eventually, and for example, you also have something like the Stomper. Almost forgot that one. An anomaly, an invisible. You don't know. Is it a creature? Is it just a sort of pressure that just smashes down to the ground or something? A field of gravity that moves constantly? So things change up quite a bit here and there. And the areas are also very different in, like, their setup and such. So it feels not... How you say? It does not feel like the same. Where, yeah, we start in the small area that feels like a training field or something for military, and then you move on to the swamps where there was a storage area, there was some sort of factory or something like that. You had a village, and then we'd go into the third area where we have train stations, we have factories, so it's something like a industrial area, proper industrial area. And then the fourth area was also a sort of village, but oh wait, I'm mixing now. Yeah, I'm mixing. Third area. No, that is. Oh boy, now I'm mixing them. Let's see. First there, I can just look through here. What is right? It is. No, it's just a pure industrial. Well, some trains maybe, but mostly in industry. Right here, where they have like a dig site, they have the big storehouses, storages. There are electrical masts, so it's like some sort of like what do you call it? Electrical factory. I can't really think of what would call them in English. Like we produce like metal and the mass maybe to bring them out, or they're just damn it, I hate the fact that I can't remember what it's called. Well, yeah, you know, electricity and stuff like that. And yeah, then move over to this area, which is there are greenhouses, there's the train stations, there is the big village, there is some fields, so it shows some sort of like a farming area, for example. And then we have the huge castle in the end. Not really anything humongous, as I mean, it's just a castle covered by a lot of water that you die if you go into it. But it kind of becomes like a maze when you go through it. So it's very compact. A shotgun would actually have been very good to have in there. Except for those in the closed off area where there's the balcony, but you could always use the smoke screen to cover you up and then go around and just blast them here and there. So yeah, I mean, it has huge replayability, and I'm really looking forward to try the second one when it comes out of beta. And I hope so much it comes to PlayStation as well. It would be awesome to do crossplay in this game, because I might know one or maybe two people that would be interested in playing this game, who I could reach out to and see if they wanted to play. But yeah, if I had to give an evaluation of this game, I would give it, I mean, for its time, in the 2020, I'm pretty sure it was that year it came out, or it was 2021. I think it was 2020. This is pretty well done for a 2020 VR game. I don't think there's many that had made something so big and interactive, though, of course. There's some issues here and there, and oh, now there's not an issue like that. I had made at one point some targeting areas over here where I picked up like a tea can, I picked up a cup, I put some plates leaning here so I could try and practice with the snipers, see how they feel and stuff like that. Maybe if I needed a better scope, or if less powerful one was necessary. So yeah, it was pretty nice with the fact that you can interact with so many stuff, and there is so much to find around if you just look properly. And also we're watching with the whole reset, so there's not a shortage of stuff. Of course, there are some places where you won't find a lot. For example, there are some places that have specific items in them, for example, like stashes. So they do not come back again, but there are a lot of the areas like houses and such. There are chests that pop up everywhere. You have the two different categories that have different things in them. Metal has weapons and ammo magazines. A lot, no, yeah, specifically magazines and weapons, but sometimes also knives. Or is that the brown ones? I'm not sure now. But yeah, you're pretty much certain to find ammunition in one of those, and it feels like pay dirt when you find one of them, especially if you find one that has a weapon in it. For example, you could start out with just a standard handgun and then have a two-barrel shotgun. You go to one of the chests and you find an AK. That feels like such a discovery, and you get all excited because now you have something that is a little bit more powerful and versatile. And it feels good when you like kind of memorize where all the locations the chests can be, and you get an incentive to also look around to check if they still are there or if they have popped up some other area. So there's a little bit of RNG and a little bit of risk and such you can take. Also with the fact that when nighttime comes, enemies are a bit more plenty and also a bit more hunting of you. Or hunting you down, I should say. And it's harder to see, so you need a light. But if you use the light, it's easier for them to see you, for example. So it's a little bit of a risk-reward system, and you can choose to sleep through it, so you don't have this huge debuff or difficulty spike that comes, but at the same time you lose some time, or quite a lot of time, so now you have less time to go around and look for stuff, and you risk getting stuck in the reset, and then you're gone. I also like the fact that I could have chosen whenever I die out in the radius in the wilderness. I mean, it's one thing, my backpack gets lost, but I could also choose that everything on me gets lost. I just specifically only the backpack items gets lost because it was my first time trying it, so I wanted to make sure not to mess myself over too much and make it too difficult, which I'm also glad I did. I keep rambling and rambling. There's just so many things to cover around this game, but I will definitely say for a game, just a game in general, I think I would give this an 8. Because, as I said, there are some problems with the structure sometimes. You have to kind of like, save and load when you want to check out the different weapons, instead of having like stats windows that would explain the weapons. At least I think I'm pretty sure I've tried the... Yeah, exactly. I tried to have the stats window come up like when I hold weapons, but it just shows the dressing mode. So there's no way for you to see the stats. That is a bit of a negative for me. I would love to be able to measure the different weapons while they're inside of there, so I know what I'm getting. I can make more of an evaluated choice about it. I mean, now I kind of know, so I kind of know what I'm going into. Yeah, there are just some things that I think either hasn't aged well, or some things that are a little bit too could have used some more work and some more additions and such. Which they probably. I'm pretty sure I've heard that they listened to the community of Into the Radius, the fans of it, and then they took some feedback from them. They took some criticism, and they implemented them into the second game. For example, we have multiplayer. If there's gonna be crossplay, I don't know. Would be freaking awesome if they had, and would eventually go into it. Though it would be awesome if they implemented it from the start of the game instead of like half a year later or something. Then people have played it, and it's just gonna be like playing the same game but with more people. I mean, it would be kind of cool to go through as a little squad, going around and loot areas and shoot down the enemies and such. But it's gonna be a little bit sad because then there's gonna be less people that's gonna play it. Although it would also possibly do a thing where the player base would return and play with other people. Though I can also see it be kind of problematic with, for example, looting systems and such. Like, it would really suck if you go into a squad, a group with other people you don't know, and they just loot hog everything, like go loot goblin mode like I do, and just like take everything and then sell it, and then they just earn things for themselves, and then a third wheel or fourth wheel or whatever gets stuck with pretty much no loot. And if they complain, then either they shoot them or the player can't really do anything. Or they have to go behind the other's back and pick the stuff, and then those get mad at that guy, then kick him out, or something like that. So I'm interested to see how it's gonna turn out when the game comes out. Though maybe you can set some restrictions, so like maybe there's a evaluation system or something like that, where you're like, this player isn't good, this player isn't good, this one player is very helpful and a good team player, and stuff like that. So you can make an evaluated guess of or choice of who do you want to join into a group to, and then also maybe there's a specific tag keyword for the groups you want to join into. For example, master looters, there could be the speed runners, there could be like limiters, or so there's like barely any ammunition, there are plenty of enemies, so everything is hardcore level. Or it's a gore fest where you just have everything lying around. You can just go around firing out shotguns, shoot down your enemies, throw grenades and stuff, and just obliterate the enemies and just have a fun time just going crazy with stuff. With all your friends and just be ridiculous and such. Do goofy stuff. But yeah, only time will tell if the second one's gonna be good. But it's also made me a bit curious on the Stalker series, and I'm thinking maybe of going to the second game, because I tried the first one. I didn't really like the feel of it, and the graphics were also pretty bad. As I recollect, it was maybe good for its time, but I personally think it did not age well. But probably because I didn't play from the beginning and such. And I'm not much of a PC player. I can do it, but some games I just prefer on PlayStation and such. But as a VR game, I would give this a 9 out of 10. Included because of the fact that for its time, it's pretty damn good. So I'm looking forward to see how the quality of the 2024 version, the sequel, is gonna look. 4 years they had practiced on this one, gained some experience, and maybe also they I don't know what engine they're using for it. Maybe they're using Unreal Engine 5, That would be crazy. That would be really awesome to look at. And oh yeah, a thing I also forgot to mention, I love the maintenance in this game. It's not complicated, it's simple down. You add some grease or whatever on the weapons. You brush them down, remove all the dirt on the outside. Then afterwards you go into the barrel and you clean it with a rod with some paper, and that's it. Nothing like, oh, you need this specific thing, you need this specific thing for this specific weapon, you need this specific thing and this specific thing for this weapon. And this one is really hard to find. So for example, it becomes more difficult with the more complicated the weapon is. So, for example, an assault rifle, that would be very difficult. But, for example, an AK, for example, I know they are very easy maintenance and fix and clean. Also, we have the two-barrel shotgun, which is very easy cleaning. It's just, yeah, the barrel, there is the grip, there is the trigger, and that's pretty much it. So it's not really a lot of maintenance that's needed on that one, or at least not complicated. So I'm glad they simplified it down a little bit on all of the weapons. So yeah, in general, as a game, an 8, as a VR game, a 9.9. I don't know, maybe a 9.5. Nah, I'll keep it at a 9 because there are still the issues around. With, for example, yeah, as I said, props that disappear and showcasing doesn't show stats until you have the weapon in your hand and you actually see what it is. And you also need to go over to the box over there in the, or I don't know what it's called. Yeah, repair box it's called, or upgrade box, to see what upgrades you can get to it instead of seeing it from the beginning. So first you need to see the stats, and afterwards you have to see what upgrades can you do for the weapon. And then if you don't like it, you have to sell it, or, as I figured out later, save the game, buy the weapon, check it out, go to the upgrade, you don't like it, or just to check the stats, then you load, and then you haven't bought the game and you still keep the money. You haven't bought the weapon and you still keep the money. There we go. And you learn something about can make an evaluated choice. But yeah, with that said and done, tomorrow I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. I have a friend I need to go out with, as we need to buy some presents. And who knows, maybe we'll spend a little bit of the early afternoon hanging out a little bit, maybe go grab a bite or something, get a drink. Actually, a place I might be interested in showing them that I just discovered today. Freaking awesome food. It's not a KFC, it's like a chicken place and stuff like that. Freaking great burgers. I bought 2 to test them out, and both of them were good in each their own way, and the sauce is amazing. But yeah, I'm just talking here, so I might be a short stream where I go in a little bit late. We'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, with that said and done, thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like the VOD, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and hit the bells and get notifications for whenever I upload videos. If you're watching this on Twitch and you like the VOD, please feel free to leave a follow so you can get notifications for whenever I live stream. Usually I will do short streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where I start around 4 p.m. and end around half 6, somewhere around there. Maybe sometimes a little bit earlier. And some days I might skip because due to work. And Tuesday and Thursday will usually be around 2 p.m. CET. There might also be some times where I don't do the streams on the usual time, so I will maybe do late streams because I have some arrangements and stuff. Like some days, for example, today I had a social meeting and stuff with a group. And weekends can be a little bit on and off, so I will usually live stream around 2 p.m. CET. So around 2 p.m. CET, that would make it 7. Yeah, 7 p.m. CST. So thank you for watching. Take care, and see you next video. I'll live stream. Bye.